My wife asked me to come to the bed. Her voice was soft, loving, exactly like her. The only problem, she wasn't in the bed. She was under it, and she wasn't alone. 5 years of marriage, a month in Bangkok that changed his life, a wife named Molly, who gave up her whole world to follow him to Chicago. This is a story about guilt, distance, and the thing that slipped into their bedroom wearing her voice like a mask. Owen met Molly while working in Bangkok. She was his interpreter, kind, sharp, 28 years old. 6 months later, they were married in her village, with his widowed mother as the only family he had to bring. They moved to Chicago. Owen kept climbing the career ladder. Molly kept waiting for the trips home. He kept promising and kept failing to deliver. 5 years married. One trip back to Thailand. That November, Owen had to tell her again that they weren't going. Not yelling, not anger, just quiet disappointment. The kind that's worse than a slammed door. That silence lasted a week, and it was that silence that pushed him to plan one final, ordinary night out. The night everything went wrong. Owen found a small, authentic Thai restaurant and booked a Friday night table, hoping it would feel like home for her. He let Molly order everything. He ate everything she put in front of him, even the dishes that felt like they were burning a hole through his lip. By the time they got back to their third-floor apartment, his stomach was a ticking bomb. He bolted for the bathroom mid-sentence, leaving Molly standing in the entryway with that tired, half-amused, half-furious look wives give husbands who never learn. He thought the worst thing that would happen that night was embarrassing. Himself in the bathroom, he had no idea something else was already in the apartment. From the bathroom, Owen heard Molly curse rare for her. She'd left her phone in the car, and her sister Ploy was supposed to call about her exams. Molly snapped that she'd get it herself. The front door clicked shut. Less than a minute later, far too fast for anyone to make a round trip to the parking lot, the door clicked open again. Heavy, angry footsteps crossed the apartment. A door slammed. The bedroom door. Owen called out, half joking. No answer. Just silence where his wife should have been. He told himself she was just angry. He told himself a lot of things that night to keep from admitting something was wrong. When Owen finally came out of the bathroom, the front door was wide open. The hallway outside was completely empty. No Molly, no footsteps, nobody in either direction. Just a strange cold breeze brushing his neck. Oddly gentle, oddly familiar. Like the early days of falling in love with her. He shut the door. He told himself she'd gone back out. He showered. He got dressed. 40 minutes passed. The bedroom door stayed shut and locked, even though they never locked that door. He knocked. He apologized. He begged her to answer, and the silence on the other side of that door was the loudest thing he'd ever heard. After repeated knocking with no response, panic took over. Owen slammed his shoulder into the door. Useless. He grabbed a hammer from the kitchen toolbox and smashed the lock until it gave way. The bedroom was pitch black. Every blind shut. Every curtain drawn, and the chandelier wasn't just broken. It had been torn straight out of the ceiling. Wires hanging bare. Glass scattered across the floor. Something had ripped a fixture down that even Owen needed a chair to reach. And then, from somewhere in that darkness, a voice answered him. Her voice, calling him toward the bed. The bed was empty, perfectly made. Exactly how they'd left it that morning. The voice wasn't coming from on top of it. It was coming from underneath. It sounded like Molly, soft, almost tearful, asking him to come closer. But layered underneath her voice was something else. A second voice, wrong in a way he couldn't describe. Near the bedpost, something that looked like a thick, wet black braid slid slowly under the bed frame, as if being pulled from inside. A scratching sound started soft, then frantic, like an animal clawing to get out from behind a door. Then the hands came long, thin. Too many fingers. One gripped a bed leg. A second slammed down on the blankets. A third. A fourth rising over the far side of the bed. Nails dragging across hardwood. He didn't wait to see what came next. He ran, but the voice followed him out of the room. Owen backed out into the living room, hammer still in hand, breathing like he'd run a mile. Behind him, through the half-open door, the voice kept calling, gentle, patient, certain he'd eventually come back. Owen, sweetheart, come here. He had no idea where his real wife was. He had no idea what was wearing her voice. And he had no idea it was only getting started. If you want to know what happened next, what was really under that bed, and whether Owen ever found Molly, subscribe and stay close. Because this story isn't over. Comment below. Would you have opened that door?